Hello and welcome to The Spirit Safe. My name is Rob. Thank you very much indeed for joining me. The bottle I have got here is one that has been a long time coming. It is one of the most ubiquitous whiskies you'll see, and in fact it's the most sold single malt Scotch in the world. It is the Glenfiddich 12-year-old. Now this is actually, would you believe, the first Glenfiddich I've reviewed on the channel. I've reviewed bottles from Tiernanig, from Loch Lee, from lots of obscure distilleries, but not one from Glenfiddich. So I've been promising it for a long time. I went out and bought it recently, so I thought I would review it for you, as I have been promising for about 3 years. It actually costs quite a bit, this, in BC, 74 Canadian dollars. And I think it's trading a little bit on the distillery's branding. This, the Stag and the very well-known Glenfiddich name. And other reviews that I've seen or I've read tend to approach this as a very cheap whiskey. Often it's the cheapest single malt that you'll find in, or cheapest branded single malt that you'll find in a lot of markets. But here I have to look at it as a $73, $75 bottle, which is what it is. If you're in the UK, this will probably be on special offer at one of the given supermarkets at any time. And you're probably at some point going to receive a bottle as a gift because it's just so popular. It has the 12-year age statement. It's 40% ABV, so the legal minimum, a little bit disappointing. It's in the tricorn hat shaped tube, which same as the Grant's blend, which is owned by the Grant family, who also own Glenfiddich. Nice green bottle, also in the tricorn hat shape. And they've got a slightly more stylized stag logo on this now, and it's quite attractively packaged. I do like the green colour of the bottle. So it's probably got some Eon 50A. It's probably chill filtered, but this sort of position in the market, it's not surprising. And it's a blend of Oloroso and ex-Oloroso and ex-Bourbon. That's immediately apparent on the nose. I would say it is vibrant and approachable. It's got a lovely sweet maltiness. There's a bit of spice, a bit of fruit, especially apple and pear. Strawberry and a little bit of cherry. There's a fair amount of the Oloroso actually. And I haven't skimped with Oloroso. Some raisins and currants, a bit of mulled wine spice. Dried apricots. Candied ginger, a little bit of fresh pineapple, not too tart, more sweet pineapple, very ripe. Yeah, apple and pear. The apple is both fresh and crisp and sort of stewed, or apple crumble. Reasonable amount of citrus, maybe pomelo or a sweet grapefruit. A bit of sweetened rhubarb. Palate is as the nose would suggest. Bit of fruit, a lot of fruit, bit of spice. The fruit again, apple and pear is leading it. Sweet maltiness, an adequate mouthfeel for 40% ABV. Picking up cranberries, black tea. There's a little bit of warmth, but it's a mellow, sweet, malty whiskey. There's some honey, bit of strawberry going on. Now, I always try my whiskies with a little bit of water, just to see what it does to the profile. Just a drop here, 40% ABV. Normally I would be enjoying this at full strength. I'm not somebody who waters it down to 35%. It doesn't really do anything for you. Picking up red apple, but also crab apple now. Some tangerines, raisins, cinnamon, and navel oranges, which just weren't there before. Now it's still got the same basic profile on the nose, but you're getting a bit more licorice root, pear drops, lemon, slightly more grassy as well. On the palate now, starting to pick up a little bit of milk chocolate, but the sherry spice, a little bit of cranberry sourness, bit of white pepper, and the oak comes through a lot more with a drop of water. The finish is of apples, citrus, raisins, cloves, bitter chocolate, pear drops, oak spice. And I'd say it's not a long finish or a particularly complex finish. But for 40% ABV, it's adequate. I'd say, in conclusion, this is a good whiskey. There's a reason that it is the most popular. It has a lot of competition, and if it was crap whiskey, it would not be number one. It is perfectly drinkable, and it's very approachable for beginners. And somebody who's a bit more experienced, it kind of only goes so far. A lot of the Glenfiddich stuff tends to be bottled at lower ABV. You don't really get much higher than 43% until you start spending quite a bit more. So that's why Glenfiddich is kind of limited for me. But I'd say there's plenty there for a beginner to get interested in, and if you're a more experienced whiskey drinker, people are going to buy this for you as a gift. Or if you're in a place where this is very easily available and really very cheap, it might be 20 quid in the UK, I'm not sure. It would be a good bottle to have on hand to pour for people who are new to single malt. So for me, I won't be buying this again at 75 Canadian. But I would buy it for somebody potentially as a gift, and if I received a bottle, I wouldn't be pouring it away. I'd be enjoying it. That's just my take on it. I've been around single malts quite a lot, so this is kind of what I pick out of it. But I'd be very curious to know what other maybe quite experienced people have thought of this, if they tried it recently, and maybe you tried this very early on and tried it again later and you've got some views on it. I'd love to hear them. Anyway, stay tuned. I think in a couple of weeks' time we'll probably have either a cask strength Canadian whiskey or a old and now discontinued Islay whiskey. Stay tuned for that. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed the review, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Cheers, goodbye.